How one tank can turn into a cash machine. Imagine walking into your backyard every morning, lifting the cover of a simple cement tank, and seeing hundreds of healthy, glistening fish swimming right beneath the surface. With nothing more than a small space, some leftover vegetables, and a bit of dedication, you could be turning that tank into a cash machine, producing food for your family and income that rivals a second paycheck. This isn't a fantasy, it's a growing movement in sustainable farming that everyday people, from Southeast Asia to suburban America, are beginning to embrace. Giant gourami farming. Here's the big promise. With an investment as modest as $500 to $1.500, you can set up a system that generates $1 to $3 in returns per cycle. And the best part? You don't need acres of farmland, high-tech machinery, or even prior aquaculture experience. You just need the will to start and the right guidance to succeed. Why does this matter right now? Because the world is hungry for affordable, sustainable protein. In the US, consumers are searching for alternatives that are not only healthy but also eco-friendly. Families want to cut grocery bills without cutting quality. Restaurants and niche markets are demanding exotic, versatile fish that stand out from the standard tilapia and catfish. The giant gourami, hardy, delicious, and surprisingly easy to raise, offers a solution that fits perfectly with these modern needs. Think about it. Food prices are climbing, supply chains are unstable, and people everywhere are talking about food security. In this context, having the power to produce fresh, high-quality fish in your own backyard is more than a smart hobby, it's financial resilience. It's food independence, and it could be your next big side hustle, or even a full-time farming venture. Let's look at some quick stats to make this real. Profit margins often reach 30 to 80% per cycle, depending on your feed and stocking strategies. A small tank of just 10 to 20 square meters can house 200 to 300 fish, each growing to a market size of 1 to 2 pounds in under a year. Restaurants and ethnic markets in the US are paying $7-10 per pound for high-quality giant gourami, often more than tilapia or catfish. And unlike many farmed fish, these beauties are tough survivors. They tolerate low oxygen, adapt to varied feed sources, and are less prone to disease. Now, let's make it personal. Picture serving your family a meal of fresh, homegrown fish, no pesticides, no industrial farming concerns, just clean, healthy protein you raised yourself. Then imagine taking the extra harvest to your local farmer's market, a nearby restaurant, or even selling directly to neighbors and friends. That simple tank could mean hundreds of dollars in your pocket every month, while also putting high-quality food on your table. And here's the emotional punch. What if you could cut your grocery costs, feed your family healthier meals, and earn thousands of extra dollars, all from your own backyard? What if a small step today could lead to long-term financial freedom and food security tomorrow? This isn't just another farming fad. This is part of a global shift towards small-scale, high-efficiency, sustainable agriculture. From city rooftops in Los Angeles to rural homesteads in Texas, more and more people are realizing that you don't need big land or big money to make a big impact. So stay with us. In this video, we're going to break down the entire process, from setting up your tank and choosing your fish, to feeding, water management, harvesting, and marketing. By the end, you'll have a step-by-step roadmap to transform a simple idea into a thriving, profitable reality. This could be the start of your journey into modern aquaculture. And who knows, it might just change your life. Fish meet the giant gourami. Before we dive into the how, let's talk about the star of this entire journey, the giant gourami. Known scientifically as Osphronemus gourami, this freshwater fish is one of Southeast Asia's hidden treasures, and it's about time the rest of the world discovered it. If you've ever raised tilapia or catfish, you'll find some familiar patterns here. But the giant gourami is different. It's hardier, more adaptable, and has a market appeal that tilapia could only dream of. For American farmers and backyard enthusiasts, it's a rising star with enormous potential. What makes the giant gourami special? Hardy and resilient. unlike many aquaculture species that collapse under stress. Giant gourami thrive in less than perfect environments. They can survive in low oxygen conditions where other fish would perish. This means less risk and lower costs for you. Impressive size. With good care, these fish can reach between 1.5 to 8 pounds, 0.8 to 3.5 kilograms. Some even grow to 10 pounds over a few years. Imagine the market appeal of serving a fillet that large. Long lifespan. Gourami can live more than a decade if well managed, which makes them excellent not only for meat production but also for breeding programs. Omnivorous with a herbivorous leaning, they love greens, water spinach, duckweed, cassava leaves, kitchen scraps, and they also accept pellet feed. This flexibility makes them affordable to raise and highly sustainable. Taste and culinary appeal. Let's face it, no matter how easy they are to raise, if they don't taste good, the market won't care. Luckily, giant gourami are delicious. Texture. Firm yet tender, making it versatile for grilling, steaming, or frying. Flavor. Mild, slightly sweet, less muddy than catfish and cleaner than tilapia. Versatility. In Southeast Asia, it's a delicacy for soups, curries, and grilled dishes. In America, it could find a natural fit in Asian restaurants, farm-to-table menus, and even health-focused meal prep services. For comparison, tilapia sells well in the US because it's cheap and neutral tasting. Catfish is popular in southern cuisine but not everywhere. The giant gourami combines the best of both: better taste, fewer bones, and a unique selling point that stands out in crowded markets. Perfect for the global market. With immigration and cultural diversity shaping the U.S. food landscape, demand for exotic fish is higher than ever. Asian American communities in California, New York, and Texas already crave species like gourami. And beyond that, mainstream consumers are increasingly adventurous, seeking alternatives to overfished species like salmon or cod. This creates a golden opportunity for small farmers. Supply is limited. Demand is rising. Prices are strong, often $7-10 per pound, well above tilapia's $3 to $4. Environmental edge. There's another reason this fish is poised to win hearts: sustainability. By eating mostly plant matter and farm byproducts, giant gourami reduce reliance on costly, resource-heavy fish meal. Families can grow vegetables alongside tanks, creating a closed-loop system that saves money and reduces waste. Less prone to disease outbreaks, meaning fewer antibiotics, fewer losses, and healthier food for consumers. In a world increasingly focused on eco-friendly farming, this is a strong selling point, not just for consumers but also for marketing. Imagine telling your customers, "This fish was raised sustainably, fed on homegrown greens and natural feeds, right here in the community." That's a story people are willing to pay for. From Asia to America, why now? Giant gourami have been farmed successfully for decades in countries like Vietnam, Indonesia, and Thailand. Farmers there discovered what Americans are only beginning to realize: this fish thrives in small, controlled environments like cement tanks. Why cement tanks? Because they allow farmers to raise fish even when space is limited. Water quality is variable, or disease risk is high. Instead of digging ponds, you can set up a tank in a backyard, greenhouse, or even an urban rooftop farm. For U.S. entrepreneurs, that flexibility is revolutionary. As the urban farming movement grows in places like New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles, imagine the potential of introducing a profitable, tasty, sustainable species like giant gourami into the mix. A symbol of opportunity. More than just a fish, the giant gourami represents opportunity. It's the chance for everyday people, suburban families, homesteaders, retired veterans, even college students, to take control of their food supply and financial future. Think of it this way: a gardener grows vegetables to eat and sell at the farmer's market. A beekeeper produces honey to share with the community. And now, a backyard farmer can produce pounds of fresh fish, feeding families and fueling businesses. The giant gourami isn't just about farming, it's about empowerment. It's proof that with the right species, you can turn a small patch of land or concrete into a thriving, profitable micro farm. Why this video matters? By now, you can probably see why we're excited to share this with you. This isn't about some complicated, industrial system. It's about ordinary people discovering extraordinary results. We're going to walk you through everything. How to build your tank. Where to get fingerlings. What to feed them. How to keep the water clean. When to harvest. And, most importantly, how to make money doing it. By the end of this journey, you'll understand exactly why the giant gourami is one of the most underrated yet profitable fish species for small-scale farmers worldwide. So let's get started, because this fish could be your next big breakthrough. Moneybag. Why this model works. At first glance, raising fish in a cement tank might sound unusual to many American viewers. After all, most people picture wide ponds, flowing rivers, or massive industrial fish farms when they think of aquaculture. But here's the secret: the cement tank model is not only possible, it's brilliantly effective. Let's break down exactly why. Low risk, high reward. One of the biggest barriers for new farmers is land. In the US, farmland is expensive. Ponds are costly to build. And not everyone has acres to spare. But a cement tank changes the game. A backyard, a garage, or even a corner of unused land can be converted into a mini fish farm. Instead of investing tens of thousands of dollars in ponds, you can start with $500, $1,500 for a tank. You control the water quality, the feeding, and the stocking density, which means less dependency on nature and fewer surprises. The result? A system that is accessible to everyday people, not just big companies. Space-saving efficiency. A 10 to 20 square meters tank, about the size of a small bedroom, can house 200 to 300 fish. Scale that up to a 50 square meters tank, and you're looking at 800 to 1,000 fish in one controlled environment. For homesteaders, suburban families, or urban entrepreneurs, this means you don't need sprawling farmland. You can literally turn concrete space into protein production. That's revolutionary in places where land is scarce or too costly. Eco-friendly and sustainable. Traditional aquaculture often relies heavily on pellet feeds made from fish meal, costly to buy, energy-intensive to produce, and sometimes unsustainable. But giant gourami thrive on something much simpler. Vegetables and greens like water spinach, cassava leaves, duckweed, farm byproducts like corn bran or rice bran, supplemented with some pellet feed for balanced nutrition. This reduces costs dramatically, often saving 40 to 50% compared to farms that use only pellets. It also makes the system environmentally friendly, because you're recycling and repurposing farm waste instead of relying solely on industrial feed. For Americans growing a garden in their backyard, this is a perfect match. The vegetables you grow can feed your fish, and in turn, the fish wastewater can fertilize your plants. A natural cycle of sustainability. Strong market demand. Numbers don't lie. Let's talk money. In Southeast Asia, farmers earn stable incomes from giant gourami because the demand is constant. In the US, niche markets like Asian grocery stores, farm-to-table restaurants, and health-conscious communities are willing to pay $7-10 per pound, far higher than tilapia. With rising interest in exotic, sustainable foods, this market is only going to grow. For farmers and entrepreneurs, this means reliable buyers and high profit margins. Built-in disease resistance. If you've ever read horror stories about shrimp or salmon farms collapsing due to disease, you'll understand why this point matters. Disease outbreaks can wipe out entire ponds in weeks. But giant gourami are naturally tough. They tolerate low oxygen. They resist common freshwater diseases better than many other species. With clean water and a balanced diet, survival rates can hit 85 to 95%. This resilience means fewer losses and less money spent on medicine or treatments. For small-scale farmers, that's huge. Scalable model. Another reason this works is scalability. You can start small, learn the ropes, and then expand. Begin with one 10 to 20 square meters tank. Once you master the process, add a second tank. Over time, expand to a small cluster of tanks, or integrate into an aquaponics system. This step-by-step growth path makes it perfect for beginners who don't want to risk too much upfront. Real numbers, real profits. Let's imagine a scenario. Initial investment, $1.200 for a 20 square meters tank. Stocking, 250 fingerlings at 20 cents each equals $50. Feed, greens plus pellets, $400 to $500 for the cycle. Electricity and maintenance, $100. Total costs, around $1.800 including tank build. Now, after 10 to 12 months, harvest about 220 fish at 2 pounds each equals 440 pounds. Sell at $8 per pound equals $3.520. Profit, $1.700 in the first year, with the tank already built for future use. From the second year forward, since the tank is already paid for, the profits climb even higher. The bottom line. This model works because it combines simplicity, affordability, and profitability. It doesn't require massive land, endless labor, or advanced technology. Instead, it uses what's available: cement tanks, basic feed, backyard space, and turns it into a reliable income stream. For American viewers, this isn't just about farming, it's about empowerment. Whether you're looking for a side hustle, a retirement project, or a path to full-time farming, Giant Gourami in cement tanks can deliver. And as we'll see in the next section, the first big step is building your tank, a foundation that could hold not just water and fish, but the blueprint for your financial freedom. Building your cement tank. If the Giant Gourami is the star of this story, then the cement tank is the stage. Without it, there's no performance. But here's the great news. Building a cement tank is simpler than you might think. And it's far more affordable than digging ponds or installing high-tech recirculating systems. With just a modest investment, you can create a controlled environment that gives your fish the best chance to thrive. Why a cement tank? Control. Unlike ponds, tanks give you total control over water quality, feeding, and stocking density. Hygiene. Easy to clean and disinfect between cycles, reducing the risk of disease. Space efficient. Fits in small yards, back lots, even rooftops. Durability. A well-built tank lasts 10 to 20 years with minimal maintenance. This isn't just an alternative, it's the smarter way for beginners and small-scale farmers to get started. Blank. Step 1. Choosing the right location. Your tank's success begins with where you place it. Look for flat ground to ensure even construction. Easy access to water for filling and topping up. Good drainage so excess water doesn't flood your property. Protection from direct sun. Use a simple shade net or place near a wall to prevent overheating in summer. Even a 200 to 300 square foot backyard is enough to house a highly productive tank. Blank. Step 2. Sizing your tank. The beauty of this system is flexibility. Small scale, 10-20 square meters, 100 to 200 square feet, perfect for beginners. Accommodates 200 to 300 fish. Medium scale, 50 square meters, 500 square feet, for more serious side income. Holds 800 to 1.000 fish. Expandable. Start small and add more tanks later. Depth is critical. Aim for 4 to 5 feet, 1.2 to 1.5 meters. Too shallow, and the water heats up or cools down too quickly. Too deep, and it becomes harder to manage oxygen. Blank. Step 3. Construction basics. Think of the tank as a swimming pool for your fish. Here's what you need. Walls, 6 to 8 inches thick, made of reinforced cement to prevent cracks. Floor. Smooth, slightly sloped, 2 to 3%, toward a drainage outlet for easy cleaning. Drainage pipe, 2 to 3 inches wide, positioned at the lowest point to remove wastewater quickly. Water inlet, smaller pipe for fresh water supply. Finish, smooth plastering to prevent injuries to fish. A 20 square meters tank typically costs between $500 to $800 in materials if you do some of the labor yourself. If you hire a contractor, expect $1.500. Either way, it's a one-time investment that pays off for years. Blank, underscore, blank. Step 4. Preparing the tank. Never stock fish in a brand new tank without preparation. Fresh cement can release harmful chemicals into the water. 1. Fill with water and let it sit for 7 to 10 days. 2. Drain and refill 2 to 3 times to flush out lime and dust. 3. Disinfect by sprinkling agricultural lime, about 1 pound per 10 square feet, or potassium permanganate. 4. Rinse thoroughly before adding fish. This step may feel slow, but it's essential. Think of it as seasoning your tank, like a chef seasons a pan before cooking. Blank, underscore, blank. Step 5. Essential equipment. While the tank is the core, a few simple tools make management easier. Aerator, pump. Keeps oxygen levels above 3 milligrams per liter. A small 80 to 100 W unit costs around $50 to $70. Shade net. Protects against direct sunlight. Keeps debris out. About $20 to $30 for a backyard-sized setup. Testing kit. Measures pH, ammonia, and oxygen. $15 to $20 online. Backup power plan. Even a small generator or battery pump can save your fish during outages. These tools aren't luxuries, they're lifesavers. Blank, underscore, blank. Step 6. Cost breakdown example. Let's say you're starting with a 20 square meters, 200 square feet, tank. Cement, sand, gravel, rebar, $400 to $500. Labor, if hired, $200 to $400. Pipes, fittings, valves, $50 to $70. Aerator, $60. Shade net, $30. Testing kit, $20. Lime and disinfectant, $20. Total investment, $800 $1.100. Remember, this tank lasts many years. Spread that cost over multiple cycles, and your investment becomes minimal compared to the returns. Blank, underscore, blank. Step 7. Setting up for long-term success. Here are pro tips to maximize your tank. Keep it clean after every harvest. Scrub the tank with lime. Drain and sun dry for 3 to 5 days before restocking. Add floating plants. Duckweed or water hyacinth can help absorb excess nutrients and give shade to fish. Design for expansion. Install your tank where you could add another beside it in the future. Growth is addictive. You'll want more tanks once you see the profits. Think ahead for harvest. Make sure your tank is accessible for nets or partial draining when it's time to harvest. Blank, underscore, blank. A tank is more than concrete. When you finish building, you're not just staring at cement walls. You're looking at the foundation of a mini business. Think about it. This space will hold hundreds of pounds of living fish. It will become a food source, a revenue stream, and a symbol of self-reliance. Every brick, every pipe, every bag of cement you put into it is really an investment in your family's future. That's the magic of the cement tank model. It transforms something as plain and simple as concrete into a thriving ecosystem that puts money in your pocket. Blank, underscore, blank. The transition. With your tank built and ready, the next big step is stocking it with fingerlings. This is where many beginners stumble, choosing the wrong fish, stocking too densely, or skipping the acclimatization process. But don't worry, in the next section, we'll show you exactly how to choose, prepare, and release your giant gourami fingerlings for maximum survival and growth. Tropical fish stocking with fingerlings. Your tank is built, disinfected, and filled with clean water. It looks like a blank canvas, waiting to be brought to life. The next step is choosing and stocking your fingerlings, the young giant gourami that will eventually grow into your harvest. This stage is critical. Get it right, and you'll set yourself up for success. Get it wrong, and you risk losing weeks of effort and hundreds of dollars. Blank, underscore, blank. The importance of fingerlings. Think of fingerlings as the seeds of your farming journey. Just like a gardener wouldn't plant weak or diseased seeds, a fish farmer shouldn't settle for poor quality fingerlings. Healthy young fish mean faster growth rates, lower mortality, more uniform harvest sizes, higher profits at the end of the cycle. Blank, underscore, blank. Choosing the right fingerlings. Here's what you want to look for. Size. About 2 to 3 inches, 5 to 7 centimeters, long. Too small, and they'll be fragile. Too large, and they cost more without real benefits. Appearance. Bright scales. No visible deformities. No wounds. Behavior. Active swimmers that move quickly when disturbed. Avoid any fish that float near the surface or look sluggish. Source. Buy from a reputable hatchery or farm. Cheap. Random sellers may leave you with weak or sick stock. Fingerlings usually cost 15 cents to 25 cents each in bulk. For a 20 square meters tank, you'll need around 200 to 300 fish. For a 50 square meters tank, about 800 to 1.000 fish. Blank, underscore, blank. Stocking density. This is where beginners often make mistakes. Stock too many, and your fish will compete for oxygen and food. Stock too few, and you'll underutilize your tank. Standard density. 10 to 15 fish per square meter. Approximately equals 1 fish per square foot. Higher density. Up to 20 fish per square meter if you're using pellet feeds and strong aeration. For most backyard farmers, sticking to 10 to 15 fish per square meter strikes the right balance between growth and survival. Blank, underscore, blank. Acclimatization. The gentle release. Imagine stepping out of an air-conditioned room into blazing summer heat. It's a shock to your body. The same thing happens to fingerlings if you just dump them straight into your tank. The difference in temperature, pH, and water chemistry can kill them instantly. Here's the right process. 1. Float the bag. Place the bag of fingerlings in the tank water for 15 to 20 minutes. This balances the temperature. 2. Add tank water slowly, every 5 minutes. Scoop a little tank water into the bag. Do this for 15 to 20 minutes so the fish adjust gradually. 3. Salt bath, optional but recommended. Prepare a mild solution, about 1 tablespoon of salt per gallon of water, and dip the fingerlings for 3 to 5 minutes before release. This kills parasites and strengthens their immune systems. 4. Release gently. Tilt the bag sideways and let the fish swim out on their own. This small ritual protects your investment and boosts survival rates dramatically. Blank, underscore, blank. Storytelling moment. A family's first stocking day. Picture this. A family in Texas, curious about sustainable farming, finally sets up their first cement tank in the backyard. On a Saturday morning, the kids gather around with excitement as Dad carries home a bag full of tiny fish. The little gourami dart around inside the plastic bag like living silver arrows. The children can hardly wait to see them swim free. But instead of dumping the fish in, Dad patiently floats the bag, explaining that fish need time to get used to their new home. The kids watch closely as he scoops tank water into the bag. Bit by bit, when the time comes to release, everyone gathers around. Slowly, the fish glide out into their new world, exploring the tank's corners. It's not just stocking day, it's a moment of bonding, learning, and the beginning of a family adventure in farming. This is what makes backyard aquaculture magical. It's not only about profits, it's about creating experiences, stories, and values for the next generation. Blank, underscore, blank. First week care. The first week after stocking is the most delicate period. Here's how to give your fish the best start. Feeding. Start small. Give them easy to digest feed like finely chopped greens or rice bran. Just 2% of their body weight daily. After the first week, gradually increase to 3 to 5%. Observation. Spend at least 10 to 15 minutes each day watching your fish. If they're swimming actively and eating eagerly, you're on the right track. Water check. Monitor pH 6.5 to 8.0 and temperature 77 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. A simple $15 test kit is enough. Blank, underscore, blank. Avoiding common mistakes. Overstocking. More fish doesn't always mean more profit. Too many equals poor growth and higher mortality. Skipping acclimatization. Sudden release kills fish. Always take the time to transition properly. Feeding too much too soon. Overfeeding pollutes water quickly, leading to disease. Blank, underscore, blank. The transition. By this stage, you've got a living, breathing ecosystem in your backyard. Your cement tank isn't just concrete and water anymore, it's full of potential. Every fingerling is a future meal, a future sale, a future story. But now comes the heart of fish farming, feeding them properly. This is where you balance costs, growth rates, and sustainability. Feed them too little, and they won't grow. Feed them too much, and you waste money and poison the water. In the next section, we'll break down the smartest feeding strategies to maximize growth while minimizing costs. Seedling feeding strategy. Feeding is the heart of fish farming. You can build the best tank and buy the healthiest fingerlings. But if you don't get the feeding right, everything else falls apart. The good news? Giant gourami are among the easiest and most affordable fish to feed. Their diet leans heavily toward plants, which means you can cut costs while keeping your fish healthy and your profits high. Blank, underscore, blank. Why feeding matters. Growth speed. The right balance of nutrients helps your fish reach market size faster. Survival rate. Healthy diets improve immunity, reducing losses. Profit margins. Feed is usually the largest expense in aquaculture. Lowering costs while maintaining growth equals bigger profits. Get feeding wrong, and you might still raise fish, but at higher costs and lower yields. Get it right, and you turn your tank into a money printing machine. Blank, underscore, blank. Natural feed, the backyard advantage. One of the greatest advantages of giant gourami is that they thrive on simple, cheap, and natural foods. Water spinach, rao muong, fast-growing, nutrient-rich, a favorite for gourami. Duckweed, tiny floating plants that multiply rapidly and provide protein. Cassava leaves, banana leaves, sweet potato vines, abundant in tropical and subtropical regions. Kitchen scraps, vegetable peels, leftover greens, reducing household waste. Cost? Almost nothing. If you grow these yourself, you're essentially feeding your fish for free. Light bulb pro tip. Dedicate a small garden bed near your tank to grow water spinach or duckweed. This alone can save you hundreds of dollars in feed per cycle. Blank, underscore, blank. Pellet feed, the booster. While natural feeds are great, supplementing with pellet feed ensures balanced nutrition and faster growth. Look for protein content. 20 to 25% is ideal. Floating pellets. Easier to monitor consumption and reduce waste. Reputable brands. Avoid cheap, low-quality pellets that may cause digestive issues. Price. Around $15 minus 20 per 50-pound bag. Think of pellets as the protein shake of the fish world, an extra boost that complements their vegetable-heavy diet. Blank, underscore, blank. The golden ratio. So what's the perfect feeding mix? Most successful farmers recommend 60 to 70% natural feed, greens, duckweed, bran. 30 to 40% pellet feed for protein and growth. This balance Cuts feed costs by up to 50% compared to using only pellets. Keeps fish healthy and resistant to disease. Produces firm, tasty meat that consumers love. Blank, underscore, blank. Feeding rate. A simple formula. Feed 3 to 5% of body weight daily. Split into 2 meals. Example, if 200 fish weigh 0.2 pounds each, total 40 pounds. Feed them about 1.2 to 2 pounds of food per day. As they grow, adjust the amount. Overfeeding leads to wasted feed, dirty water, and stressed fish. Underfeeding slows growth. Balance is key. Light bulb pro tip. Watch your fish during feeding. If food is left uneaten after 30 minutes, reduce the amount. Blank, underscore, blank. Feeding schedule. Morning, 7 to 8 a.m., fresh greens, bran, or kitchen scraps. Afternoon, 4 to 5 p.m., pellets or duckweed. This rhythm matches their natural feeding habits and ensures steady growth. Blank, underscore, blank. Storytelling moment. The smart farmer's trick. In Louisiana, a small farmer named John set up 2 tanks of giant gourami. In one tank, he used only pellet feed. In the other, he mixed pellet feed with duckweed he grew in an old kiddie pool. At the end of 10 months, the fish in both tanks weighed about the same, but the costs told a different story. The pellet-only tank cost him $800 in feed. The mixed feed tank? Just $450. That meant an extra $350 in profit, without sacrificing growth. This is the power of smart feeding. You don't have to spend more, you just have to feed smarter. Blank, underscore, blank. Common mistakes to avoid. Relying only on pellets. It's convenient, but costly and less sustainable. Feeding irregularly. Skipping meals or dumping too much at once stresses fish. Ignoring leftovers. Uneaten food rots. Pollutes the water, and causes disease. Not tracking costs. Always log what you spend on feed. It's the biggest expense and where profits are won or lost. Blank, underscore, blank. Advanced tip. Integrated farming. Want to go next level? Combine fish and plants in a simple aquaponics system. Fish wastewater is rich in nutrients. Pump that water to vegetable beds. Vegetables filter the water, sending it back clean to the tank. This cycle means you grow both fish and vegetables, double harvest. Double income. Blank, underscore, blank. The transition. At this stage, your fish are eating well and growing steadily. But feeding is only half the story. The other half is the water they live in. Poor water quality can undo all your hard work, no matter how well you feed them. In the next section, we'll dive into water quality management, the science of keeping your tank clean, your fish healthy, and your profits safe. Droplet water quality management. Water is the invisible foundation of your fish farm. You can buy the healthiest fingerlings, feed them the perfect diet, and build the sturdiest tank, but if your water quality fails, everything collapses. Clean, stable water is what separates successful farmers from frustrated beginners. The good news? You don't need a science degree or expensive equipment. With some simple tools and routines, you can keep your water healthy, your fish thriving, and your profits safe. Blank, underscore, blank. Why water quality is crucial. Fish don't just live in water, they breathe it, eat it, and depend on it for every aspect of survival. Poor water stresses fish, making them vulnerable to disease. Slows growth, costing you money. Can cause sudden mass deaths if ignored. In contrast, good water keeps fish active and hungry, faster growth. Supports higher survival rates. Reduces medicine costs and losses. Blank, underscore, blank. How to keep water clean. 1. Regular water changes. Replace 20 to 30% of tank water every 7 to 10 days. If water smells bad or looks cloudy, change 40 to 50% immediately. 2. Use beneficial microbes. Add probiotics or effective microorganism solutions once a month. They break down waste, reduce ammonia, and keep fish healthy. 3. Floating plants. Add duckweed or water hyacinth to cover 10 to 15% of the tank surface. They absorb extra nutrients, provide shade, and offer natural snacks for fish. 4. Aeration. Keep an aerator running, especially at night when oxygen naturally drops. Backup power is essential in areas prone to outages. _. Signs of trouble. Fish can't talk, but they show clear warning signs when the water is off. Watch for fish gasping at the surface right pointing arrow oxygen is low. Fish lying sluggish at the bottom right pointing arrow ammonia or pH problem. Sudden refusal to eat right pointing arrow stress or toxins in the water. Foul smell right pointing arrow waste buildup. Change water immediately. Catching these early saves your entire stock. _. Storytelling moment. The crisis tank. A farmer in Florida named Emily once stocked her tank with 300 healthy fingerlings. For months, everything looked great, until one summer night. She forgot to turn on her aerator. By morning, dozens of fish were floating lifeless at the surface. Emily's mistake cost her nearly $400 in lost fish. But it taught her the golden rule: never underestimate oxygen. Since then, she invested in a small battery backup pump, costing only $60, and hasn't lost a single fish to oxygen failure. Her story is a reminder that water management isn't optional, it's life or death for your farm. _. Affordable tools for monitoring. Water test kits, $15.20. Test pH, ammonia, nitrite, nitrate. Digital thermometer, $10 to $15. Dissolved oxygen meter, optional, $50.70, but worth it for serious farmers. These tools may sound technical, but they're easy to use and give you peace of mind. _. Weekly routine checklist. Check pH, temperature, and clarity. Watch feeding behavior. Sluggish fish equals possible water problem. Remove uneaten food after 30 minutes. Change 20 to 30% of water if readings are off. Add probiotics once a month. _. The bottom line. Water is your invisible partner in this business. Ignore it, and it will betray you. Respect it, and it will reward you with healthy fish, high survival rates, and strong profits. Every bucket of fresh water you add, every plant you float, every test you run, it all adds up to one thing: confidence. Confidence that when it's time to harvest, your tank will be full of fat, healthy giant gourami ready to sell. _. The transition. With your fish eating well and living in clean, healthy water, you're halfway to success. But farming isn't just about survival, it's about thriving. To truly maximize your profits, you need to monitor growth, prevent disease, and keep your stock strong until harvest. That's where health monitoring and daily care come in, the next step in building a reliable, profitable system. Test tube monitoring and healthcare. Raising fish isn't just about feeding and changing water. It's about keeping a close eye on your stock every single day. Healthy fish mean fast growth, high survival rates, and strong profits. Sick or stressed fish, on the other hand, can drag down your entire farm. The key is simple: observe, prevent, and act quickly. _. Daily observation. Every day, spend at least 10 to 15 minutes watching your fish. Do they swim actively? Do they rise quickly when you feed them? Are their bodies shiny and free from spots or wounds? Fish that are active, eat eagerly, and move smoothly through the water are healthy. If they seem sluggish, hide in corners, or ignore food, it's your first warning sign. Make daily observation a habit. It doesn't just protect your fish, it helps you catch problems before they get out of hand. _. Common health problems and quick fixes. Even hardy fish like giant gourami can face issues. Here are the most common ones. Low oxygen stress. If you see fish gasping at the surface early in the morning or after a hot day, oxygen is too low. Turn on your aerator immediately. Splash fresh water into the tank. And consider adding floating plants. Prevention is simple. Keep your aerator running at night. Ammonia poisoning, red gills, restlessness, or sudden deaths often point to ammonia buildup. The fix is to change 30 to 50% of the water right away and add probiotics to help break down waste. Avoid overfeeding, as uneaten food is the main culprit. White spot disease. Tiny white dots on the skin and fins mean parasites are at work. Fish may rub against the tank walls. Treat quickly with a salt bath or a mild dose of approved parasite treatments. This disease spreads fast, so early detection is vital. Fungal infections. Cotton-like growths on the body signal fungal attack. Usually caused by dirty water or injuries. Clean the tank, add fresh water, and treat with antifungal solutions available at farm supply stores. Bacterial problems. Sores or ulcers on the skin can be bacterial. Adding vitamin C to feed helps boost immunity. For serious outbreaks, seek veterinary-approved antibiotics. The principle is simple: keep the environment clean, feed balanced diets, and your fish will rarely fall sick. __. Preventive health practices. Prevention always beats cure. A few habits can save you from major losses. Salt dip for new fingerlings. Before adding new fish, dip them briefly in a mild salt solution to kill parasites. Vitamin supplements. Add 1 gram of vitamin C per kilogram of feed once a month to boost immunity. Consistent feeding. Overfeeding not only wastes money but also fouls the water. Stick to proper feeding rates. Tank sanitation. After every harvest, scrub the walls, disinfect with lime, and let the tank dry for a few days before restocking. These small steps create a strong, disease-resistant population. __. Record keeping. A simple notebook can make a huge difference. Write down what you feed, how much water you change, and any unusual behavior you see. Over time, these notes help you spot patterns and adjust before problems become disasters. For example, if you notice that fish eat less every time pH drops below 6.5, you'll know to act sooner next time. Records turn guesswork into science. __. Storytelling moment. A close call. In California, a homesteader named Mark noticed his fish acting strangely one afternoon. They were swimming near the surface, but not gasping. He could have ignored it, thinking they were fine. Instead, he checked his water with a simple test kit. Ammonia was off the charts. He quickly replaced half the tank water and added probiotics. Within hours, the fish were back to normal. If Mark had ignored those subtle signs, he could have lost most of his stock overnight. His quick observation and action saved him over $1,000 worth of fish. __. The role of routine. Fish farming success doesn't come from one big action, it comes from small, repeated routines. Checking fish daily, feeding properly, testing water weekly, and cleaning tanks after harvest. These habits build a safety net around your investment. Think of it like raising children or tending a garden. You don't just feed them once and hope for the best. You nurture them day after day. And over time, the results are remarkable. __. The bottom line. Healthy fish are profitable fish. By monitoring daily, preventing common problems, and acting fast when issues arise, you protect both your stock and your income. Every minute you spend observing your fish is an investment in your success. Your cement tank isn't just concrete and water anymore, it's a living ecosystem. And you're its caretaker. The better you care for it, the more it will give back to you. __. The transition. With your fish eating well, living in clean water, and staying healthy, you've already secured most of your success. But there's one more critical step: knowing when and how to harvest. Harvesting at the right time and selling to the right buyers is what transforms hard work into hard cash. That's the focus of the next section, harvesting and marketing strategies that will maximize your profits. Fish harvesting and marketing. After 10 to 12 months of care, feeding, and daily observation, the moment finally arrives: harvest time. This is the stage where all your effort transforms into income. But here's the truth: harvesting isn't just about pulling fish out of the tank. It's about timing, technique, and smart marketing. The way you harvest and where you sell can make the difference between breaking even and doubling your profit. Blank. _ blank. When to harvest. Giant gourami typically reach market size after 10 to 12 months. At that point, most will weigh between 1.5 and 2.5 pounds. Some may even grow larger if conditions are ideal. Harvest too early, and the fish will be small, bringing lower prices. Wait too long, and you risk overcrowding, slower growth, or higher feed costs. The sweet spot is when the majority of your stock is in that 1.5 to 2.5 pound range. Buyers love that size. It's easy to cook, perfect for family meals, and attractive for restaurants. Blank. _ blank. Selective harvesting. You don't have to empty the tank all at once. A smart strategy is selective harvesting. Pull out the larger fish first, leaving the smaller ones to grow for a few more weeks. This spreads out your sales, gives you multiple income points, and keeps the tank productive. Think of it like picking apples. You don't strip the whole tree in one day. You pick the ripest fruit, then return later for the rest. Blank. _ blank. Harvesting techniques. Use a seine net to sweep through the tank gently. Avoid rough handling. Stress or injuries reduce quality and market price. For larger tanks, some farmers partially drain the water to make harvesting easier. Whatever method you use, keep it quick and clean to preserve fish health until sale. Blank. _ blank. Timing the market. Here's where profits can really skyrocket. Timing. In the US, demand for fresh fish peaks around holidays and cultural festivals. Lunar New Year and Asian festivals. Communities across California, New York, and Texas are willing to pay premium prices for fresh, exotic fish. Thanksgiving and Christmas. Families look for special dishes, and restaurants update their menus. Summer barbecue season. Grilled fish becomes a hit. Selling during these golden windows can add an extra $1 or $2 per pound to your price. For a 500-pound harvest, that's hundreds of dollars more in your pocket. Blank. _ blank. Marketing channels in the US. Unlike in Southeast Asia, where local wet markets dominate, American farmers have a variety of options. Restaurants. Farm-to-table restaurants, especially Asian and fusion establishments, love unique products. A fresh, sustainably raised giant gourami is a story they can put right on their menu. Asian grocery stores. Chains in major cities, like H-Mart, 99 Ranch, or independent stores, serve communities that already know and crave giant gourami. Farmers markets. Consumers at local markets are adventurous and willing to pay a premium for something new, especially if you tell the story of how you raised it sustainably in your backyard. Direct sales, subscription boxes, community-supported agriculture, CSA, programs, or even social media sales to local buyers can cut out middlemen and boost profits. Friends and family. Don't underestimate word of mouth. Once neighbors taste your fish, they'll ask when they can buy more. Blank. _ blank. Storytelling moment. The smart seller. Take Maria, a homesteader in California. She raised her first batch of giant gourami and planned to sell them at a local farmer's market. Instead of just showing up with fish, she created a story. On her stall sign, she wrote, "Backyard raised, eco-friendly giant gourami, fed on fresh greens. No chemicals." Customers were intrigued. Many had never heard of giant gourami, but Maria explained how they were hardy, sustainable, and delicious. She even offered recipe cards with simple ways to cook them. By the end of the day, She sold out at $10 per pound, $2 higher than she expected. Maria didn't just sell fish. She sold a story, and in today's market, stories sell faster than products. Blank, underscore, blank. Maximizing profit. Build buyer relationships. Reach out to restaurants and stores weeks before harvest. Guaranteeing buyers ensures you don't scramble at the last minute. Diversify channels. Don't rely on just one outlet. Spread your sales across restaurants, markets, and direct customers. Add value. Instead of selling whole fish, consider offering cleaned, filleted, or packaged options for a higher price. Promote online. Share photos and videos of your fish on Facebook groups, Instagram, or TikTok. People love seeing farm to table in action. Blank, underscore, blank. The bottom line. Harvesting is more than pulling fish from water. It's about strategy. Harvest at the right size, during the right season, and sell to the right markets. Do that, and you turn an ordinary harvest into a windfall. Remember, your fish aren't just food, they're a product with a story. Raised in clean tanks, fed on greens, cared for daily, and harvested with care, that's what today's consumers are willing to pay more for. Blank, underscore, blank. The transition. By now, you've built your tank, stocked your fish, fed them well, kept the water clean, and guided them to market size. You've even learned how to sell them for maximum profit. But nothing convinces like real-life examples. In the next section, we'll share case studies of real farmers who turned this model into thriving businesses, proving that this isn't just theory, but a proven path to success. Bar graph real-life case studies. Talking about numbers and techniques is one thing, but nothing inspires more than real stories of people who started small, faced challenges, and came out successful. These case studies show that giant gourami farming isn't just theory, it's a practical, proven path that ordinary people can follow. Blank, underscore, blank. Case study 1. The Small Backyard Dreamer. In Can Tho, Vietnam, a man named Tam decided to try something new. He didn't own farmland, but he had a small yard behind his house. With limited savings, he built 2 cement tanks, each about 200 square feet. Into these tanks, he stocked 400 giant gourami fingerlings. The first few months were tough. Tam made mistakes. He stocked too densely at first, and growth was slower than expected. Some fish died, but he kept learning, adjusted his feeding, and maintained his water more carefully. At the end of 12 months, he harvested 340 healthy fish, each about 2 pounds. His total investment was around $1,500, including the cost of the tanks. His revenue? Over $2,000. The profit might not sound huge at first, but remember, the tanks were now permanent. For the next cycles, his costs would be far lower, and his profits much higher. Tam's story shows the beauty of starting small. Even with limited space and money, he created a new income stream and proved that this model works. Blank, underscore, blank. Case study 2. The Resourceful Mother. In Dong Thap, Vietnam, a woman named Hong built a larger tank, about 500 square feet. She stocked 800 fingerlings. But here's where she stood out. Instead of buying all her feed, she planted water spinach and collected local greens to feed her fish. By doing this, she cut her feed bill nearly in half. After 10 months, she harvested 720 fish, selling them at a premium price to local restaurants. Her total revenue was more than $2,000, with a net profit of around $1,500. Hong's smart thinking didn't stop there. She also raised a small group of breeder fish and sold fingerlings to other farmers, creating a second income stream. By diversifying, she turned a single tank of fish into a small business. Her story proves that women, families, or anyone with creativity can make this model more profitable by reducing costs and expanding opportunities. Blank, underscore, blank. Case study 3. The American Pioneer. Now let's move across the ocean. In Texas, A homesteader named David wanted to reduce his grocery bills and become more self-sufficient. He read about giant gourami farming and decided to give it a try. David built a backyard tank about 200 square feet, costing him around $1,200. He stocked 250 fingerlings, using a mix of pellet feed and kitchen scraps. He also grew duckweed in a small kiddie pool to supplement their diet. At first, his neighbors thought he was crazy. Fish in a cement tank? In Texas? But after 10 months, his tank was full of fat, healthy fish. He harvested and sold part of his stock to a local Asian grocery store, while keeping enough to feed his family for months. The store paid him $9 a pound, far more than he expected. Word spread quickly. Soon, nearby restaurants were asking for his fish. David realized he had stumbled onto not just a hobby, but a side business with huge potential. His success shows that this isn't limited to Asia. With the right mindset, it works in America, too. __. Lessons from these stories. What do these farmers teach us? Start small, scale up. None of them began with massive farms. They started with 1 or 2 tanks. Learned, then expanded. Adapt and adjust. Tam reduced stocking density. Hong grew her own feed. David tapped into a new market. Flexibility is key. Think beyond fish, selling fingerlings, building restaurant connections, or offering eco-friendly stories all add extra income. Persistence pays off. The first cycle is always a learning curve. Mistakes will happen, but if you stick with it, every cycle gets better and more profitable. __. Storytelling moment. The spark of inspiration. Imagine this. You're watching this video right now in your own living room. Maybe you're a farmer. Maybe you're a city dweller. Maybe you're just someone curious about food independence. And you're thinking, could I really do this? The answer is yes. Tam, Hong, and David are proof. They weren't experts. They didn't have unlimited money or land. They just started, and with every harvest, they grew not only fish but also confidence, income, and a better future. __. The bigger picture. These stories highlight more than personal success. They show a movement. People around the world are realizing that farming doesn't have to mean acres of land or giant corporations. It can mean a cement tank in your backyard, a family working together, and a steady flow of food and income. This is the power of giant gourami farming. It empowers individuals, strengthens communities, and points the way toward a more sustainable food future. __. The transition. Now that you've seen real people succeed, it's time to uncover the secrets of long-term success. What habits, tips, and strategies separate average farmers from outstanding ones? In the next section, we'll break down the golden rules that keep profits high and failures low. Light bulb success secrets and tips. By now, you've seen how to build a tank, stock your fish, feed them, manage the water, and even harvest and sell them for profit. You've also heard the real-life stories of people who turned this model into success. But what really separates average farmers from outstanding ones? The answer lies in habits, mindset, and a handful of golden rules that can take your farm from good to great. Here are 10 success secrets every aspiring giant gourami farmer should know. __. 1. Choose strong fingerlings. The very beginning sets the tone for everything that follows. Always buy fingerlings from a trusted source. Healthy, uniform fish will grow faster, resist disease, and give you consistent harvests. Cheap fingerlings often lead to expensive losses later. __. 2. Don't overcrowd. Greed can be a silent killer. Stocking too many fish in one tank might look profitable at first, but overcrowding leads to stress, disease, and slow growth. Stick to 10 to 15 fish per square meter, unless you're highly experienced and equipped with strong aeration. __. 3. Feed smart, not just more. Feed is your biggest cost, so use it wisely. Combine natural greens with pellets to save money without sacrificing growth. Remember, giant gourami love vegetables, so let your garden and kitchen scraps work for you. Keep to 3 to 5% of body weight daily, and never let feed go uneaten. Blank, underscore, blank. 4. Make water your priority. Your fish live in water the way you live in air. Never compromise on water quality. Check temperature, pH, and clarity regularly. Small, consistent care prevents major disasters. Think of water management as your daily insurance policy. Blank, underscore, blank. 5. Observe every day. 10 minutes a day can save you thousands. Watch how your fish swim and eat. Active fish are healthy fish. Sluggish movement, refusal to eat, or gasping at the surface are signs of trouble. Early detection means early solutions. Blank, underscore, blank. 6. Keep detailed records. Write down everything: feeding amounts, water changes, costs, and fish behavior. Over time, these records become your personal guidebook. You'll see patterns, avoid repeating mistakes, and make smarter decisions. Farming without records is like driving without a map. Blank, underscore, blank. 7. Connect with buyers early. Don't wait until harvest to think about selling. Contact restaurants, grocery stores, and farmers markets weeks in advance. Building relationships ensures you'll have ready buyers and better prices. Remember, fish are perishable. The quicker they reach a buyer, the more money you make. Blank, underscore, blank. 8. Time your harvest. The calendar is just as important as the scale. Festivals, holidays, and seasonal demand can add extra dollars per pound to your price. Plan your harvest to hit those golden windows. Selling during Lunar New Year or Christmas could double your income compared to selling on an ordinary week. Blank, underscore, blank. 9. Tell your story. People don't just buy fish, they buy stories. Share how you raise your fish sustainably, how you use natural feeds, and how you care for them daily. At farmers markets, on social media, or even in casual conversations. Storytelling builds trust and excitement. It transforms your fish from just another product into something special. Blank, underscore, blank. 10. Start small, scale smart. You don't need 10 tanks to begin. Start with 1, learn the ropes, and then expand. Every cycle will teach you something new. By scaling slowly, you protect your investment and build confidence. Remember, consistency beats speed. Blank, underscore, blank. Storytelling moment, the farmer's edge. There's a saying among experienced farmers: the profit is in the details. One farmer in Vietnam once explained that the only difference between his success and his neighbor's failure was observation. He checked his tank every morning and evening, while his neighbor only looked once a week. When problems arose, he caught them early, and his neighbor didn't. That small habit made all the difference. It's the same in America. The farmers who succeed aren't always the ones with the most money or land. They're the ones who pay attention, who keep learning, and who care enough to act quickly when needed. Blank, underscore, blank. The bottom line. Success in giant gourami farming doesn't come from luck. It comes from discipline, smart strategies, and small, consistent actions. If you follow these golden rules, choose strong fingerlings. Avoid overcrowding. Feed wisely. Manage water. Observe daily. Keep records. Connect with buyers. Time your harvest. Tell your story. And scale smart. You'll put yourself on the path to long-term profitability. Remember, you're not just raising fish. You're building a business, a lifestyle, and a future. And every small habit brings you closer to financial independence and food security. Blank, underscore, blank. The transition. We've covered almost every step of the journey. But before we finish, let's look forward. What does the future of giant gourami farming hold? How can this model fit into global trends in sustainability, urban farming, and eco-friendly protein production? That's the story we'll explore next. Globe Future Potential. As we stand at the end of this journey, It's important to remember that giant gourami farming isn't just a way to make extra income today, it's a glimpse into the future of food, farming, and sustainability. Around the world, people are asking the same questions. How can we feed a growing population without destroying the environment? How can families and small communities take control of their own food supply? And how can farming adapt to a rapidly changing climate? The answer, in part, lies in models just like this one. Blank, underscore, blank. The rise of sustainable protein. Global demand for protein is skyrocketing. By 2050, the world's population is expected to reach nearly 10 billion people. Traditional livestock like beef and pork place enormous strain on land, water, and the climate. Consumers are searching for healthier, more sustainable alternatives. This is where fish step in. Compared to land animals, fish are far more efficient at converting feed into protein. And among farmed fish, giant gourami stand out as particularly eco-friendly because they eat mostly vegetables and agricultural byproducts. Imagine replacing costly soy-based feeds with garden greens and kitchen scraps. Suddenly protein becomes both cheap and sustainable. Blank, underscore, blank. The urban farming movement. In cities across the United States, Europe, and beyond, a quiet revolution is happening. Rooftops, backyards, and even old warehouses are being transformed into urban farms. People want food that is local, fresh, and trustworthy. A cement tank filled with giant gourami fits perfectly into this vision. It doesn't require acres of land. It doesn't need rivers or lakes. It's controlled, compact, and adaptable. An urban family in New York, a homesteader in California, or a community project in Chicago could all use the same model, raising healthy fish in the middle of the city. The potential for scaling is enormous. Imagine apartment complexes or schools running small fish tanks, providing both education and food. The future of farming might not be in wide open fields, but in concrete tanks close to where people live. Blank, underscore, blank. Export opportunities. Beyond local markets, giant gourami carry huge export potential. Asian communities worldwide already know and love this fish. From Vietnamese families in Houston to Indonesian restaurants in Sydney, demand is steady and strong. In fact, in some places, supply is so limited that prices reach premium levels. For American farmers, this opens the door to niche markets. By branding your fish as sustainably raised, locally produced, chemical-free, you can tap into both ethnic demand and the growing mainstream interest in exotic, eco-friendly foods. The farm-to-table movement in the US has proven that people will pay more for quality and transparency. Gourami farming gives you exactly that story to tell. Blank, underscore, blank. Technology and innovation. As with every industry, technology is transforming aquaculture. Affordable sensors now allow farmers to monitor pH, oxygen, and temperature directly from their smartphones. Automated feeders can deliver precise rations at scheduled times. Even artificial intelligence is being used to analyze fish behavior and optimize feeding. For small-scale farmers, this means more control and less guesswork. Imagine receiving a phone alert when oxygen drops, or having a system that feeds your fish while you're away at work. These innovations make aquaculture not only easier but also more reliable. And let's not forget aquaponics, integrating fish tanks with vegetable production. In the near future, we could see homes and restaurants running small systems that produce both fish and greens in perfect harmony. Double harvest, double sustainability. Blank, underscore, blank. Environmental impact. Every farmer today faces the same challenge: how to grow food while protecting the planet. Giant gourami farming offers a compelling solution. It requires very little land. It recycles agricultural byproducts. It produces minimal waste when managed properly. It provides protein with a smaller carbon footprint compared to beef, pork, or even chicken. As governments and organizations push for greener practices, models like this may even attract support through grants, subsidies, or community funding. The alignment with sustainability goals makes it not just profitable, but also responsible. Blank, underscore, blank. A vision for the future. Picture this. Neighborhoods where families raise their own fish alongside their gardens. Schools teaching children how to grow food and care for ecosystems through hands-on aquaculture projects. Cities reducing dependence on imported food by producing protein right in their backyards. This isn't a distant dream. It's already happening in pockets around the world. And you have the chance to be part of that wave. Blank, underscore, blank. The emotional close. At the end of the day, giant gourami farming is about more than tanks, water, and fish. It's about empowerment. It's about turning ordinary backyards into sources of food and income. It's about building resilience in uncertain times and passing down knowledge and values to the next generation. What if you could be the one to bring this model to your community? What if your backyard became not just a place of relaxation, but a source of abundance? What if the future of farming wasn't in the hands of big corporations, but in the hands of ordinary people like you? Blank, underscore, blank. Final call to action. The choice is yours. You've seen the potential. You've learned the steps. You've heard the success stories. Now it's time to act. Don't let this idea remain just a dream. Start today. Build your tank, raise your fish, and join a global movement toward sustainable, profitable farming. And don't forget, if this video inspired you, hit like, subscribe, and share it with others. Because the more people who discover this opportunity, the stronger our future will be. Together, we can turn small cement tanks into powerful engines of change, feeding families, building businesses, and shaping a better tomorrow.